Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Over coming to you with some more Company of Heroes actions. 1v1 today, coming on between Jesulin over here in the eastern side, playing as the Soviets, digging out that special rifle command as we speak. He is bringing to the fray Lend-Lease tactics as well as defensive tactics, the community version. And again, I rarely if ever see this thing, although I kind of wish I would. As well as shock rifle frontline tactics. His opponent over here on the western side is Havoc LOL. He, of course, is playing the OKW and, of course, is bringing Breakthrough Doctrine, Fortifications, and Special Operations. This is going to be one of those annoying matches where my mind's going to be flipped back and forth. You can see, of course, with the OKW up here on the right-hand side, but they're on the left, and we have Jesulin over here on the left-hand side, but he's on the right. The map itself is Kholodny Ferma. Thankfully not winter, so we're not going to see any kind of like slow moving through these northern areas or anything like that. And indeed, we're not even going to see the standard kind of pickup of this middle area here by the Volksgrenadiers. No, they're getting a little bit more done by capturing territory out on the map. Sturm Pioneers, in the meantime, throwing up the standard wire about their enemies' kind of decent cover. Though it does look like the Soviets will probably connect their fuel a little bit before. Maybe not. He's not prioritizing the fuel. He's prioritizing munitions instead. When Havoc picks up that first VP, he's going to begin to drain a little bit. We're going to see the Kubelwagen for Havoc moving up to the north, going for that fuel. And in the south, penal troops, no, combat engineers moving in to take care of the Soviet fuel. Penal troops coming on in and going to be engaging some firepower with the Sturm Pioneers. The Volksgrenadiers coming in behind, so it looks like those guys are going to run back into that house. Luckily get out just in time. You don't want to be taking a lot of fire from those STGs. The early on penal troops, surprisingly enough, are not particularly effective fighters against automatic weapons fire. You can see right now that these combat engineers are now starting to take it to the Volksgrenadiers. But they're doing a really good job fighting off two squads as we speak. And really, it kind of seems like he's playing Napoleon to the Russian troops right now. He's got both sides divided, and indeed he's actually taking the strategic point. He's taking horrendous losses to do it. And there goes a squad of combat engineers. He doesn't hang out long enough to pick up that last particular point. He's afraid of losing those Volksgrenadiers, and I can't blame him too much. And, you know, this just above, though, we're seeing the Sturm Pioneers are really, really socking it to these penal troops. Don't go in the house. Do not go in the house. Okay, good idea. Okay, so the Sturm Pioneers are running away, but they did really, really great work. And their sacrifice is not in vain, I don't think. I dare say, has allowed the Germans to, first of all, have this frustration decap for a little bit of time, as well as allowed the Kubelwagen to continue moving to the north, pick up the fuel way before the Russians do now. And I have to ask the question, yep, there's an SWS coming in right now. Will it be a battle group headquarters? I don't know, maybe that's probably not the best option, and probably would be what he needs to do. Also, guys, do let me know. I know there's a little bit of an issue the last 1v1 I posted. We had a little bit of a sound balance problem. When I recorded the game, I was able to hear all the action in my ears, but apparently you guys did not hear it when it went up, so I do apologize for that one. In the meantime, penal troops are moving up to try to... Ooh, okay, they've cut off the fuel, or so they thought. Kubelwagen moving in behind, he's going to take some firepower, and I think, yep, these Volksgrenadiers are moving in to support him. In the meantime, Jesulin is going for a clown car, looking to kind of support his ailing forces. And these Volksgrenadiers, I think, should be able to push back the penal troops without too much more of an issue. Combat engineers picking up some flamethrowers, though, looking to make things a little bit warm for the Germans in the middle part of the map. As the meantime, we do see these penal troops have managed to decap the center position. Alright, so we have a lot of garrison play going on right now. Combat engineers doing good work against these guys in cover. But the Volksgrenadiers doing just as well, I would argue, against these penal troops to the north. And now, with only one source of firepower to deal with, and these guys caught completely in the flank, I wouldn't be surprised if we see these combat engineers flee. Yes, they're getting slaughtered right now. And now freed from that, the Germans continue to put their fire right back into the garrison. Nope, never mind, there they go, chased away by the scout car and this flamethrower. And that's a little bit unlucky there. Storm Pioneers, in the meantime, are going to be frustrated by penal troops inside the God House to the west of the central VP. And despite it being 439 to 500, the Soviets are going to take back the northern VP. They've cut off the fuel. They're cutting off all the Germans from their northern positions. And indeed, I don't know if they're going to have the kind of firepower they need to deflect this too easily. Of course, I say that they throw a Faust into this scout car, which will inspire some repair work out in the field. Which means the Germans, if they're lucky, might be able to sneak a Raketen out to take care of that. Not too sure about that, though. And with Havoc also really kind of hurting now for munitions, it's going to be a little harder for him to take care of garrisons. It'll be a little harder for him to take care of this car right here.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
But Jesulin's troops are taking a bit of a breather, getting pushed back in the wake of all that intense action here. There goes a Faust. Blows a hole in the engine block there, and the Storm Pioneers are coming on in to maybe take out this scout car. The STGs do some decent work, but out in the open, these guys are going to get carved to pieces. And you can see it right there. Okay, they take out the vehicle, and it's time for them to go. Back away, my friends. Swim away! Swim away! Oh, wow, okay. So they were able to really do the work against the combat engineers. And only when penal troops come ahead are they forced to flee. So really well played by Havoc. He kept his cool when all was lighting up around him in flame. And yes, Jesulin is going for defensive tactics community. And the first thing we see, guys, is a Dushka 38 coming on in. Now, the really beautiful thing about this particular commander is that all of the call-ins are super soon. He now has the full line able to be brought on in. And it definitely should be interesting to see how Jesulin plays the map. This actually might be the first time I was able to cast a game with community defensive tactics. Let's take a look at this again. So the 45mm AT gun, it's super, super light. Imagine this gun that's much more mobile. Actually, if I had to really give you a good metaphor, I would think, look at it as the Raketenwerfer, the mobility of a Raketenwerfer, and probably the penetration of a 57mm. Now, Williams, before you complain about the way I'm calling it here, I'm not saying it's 100% the same. I'm putting it out there right now because I made a comment in the last match, and I caught some flack from Williams about saying that the 57mm was not a particularly good AT gun. Now, it's fair. I mean, a lot of material... Actually, no, let's not worry about that right now. Big Soviet push in the north. These Volksgrenadiers are going to get carved to pieces. They got to run, and so they do. There's an AA half-track that's going to be trooping up to the front, and I dare say, yep, he's coming on forwards right now. He's going to lock himself down. As long as Dushka does not get the drop on him, he's going to be able to do some really, really great work. In the meantime, in the north, that Russian push is going to get stymied, I would argue. It's going to get stymied now by the AA half-track moving forward. Are we going to see any upgrades? No, not yet. PTRSs are still... Oh, no, in his own territory. Oopsies. I was thinking it's a little bit too expensive, but duh, that makes 0 sense. Kubovagen goes down, unfortunately, the Peanut Battalion taking him out. His AA half-track not getting the immediate effect I was really kind of hoping for. He hasn't even fired yet, honestly. Meanwhile, to the south, we'll see Volksgrenadiers ganging up on his combat engineers. With a little bit of a surprise left behind. The question is, will his combat engineers go down? Oof. No, instead, we're going to see that pursuing Volksgrenadier squad getting blown to pieces. Didn't notice in the meantime we saw an MG34 being made by the OKW. Havoc really kind of consolidating his position in the middle part of the map. Of course, not completely consolidated. We do see, of course, this VP is in Soviet hands. Or Hans, if you prefer. And I'm thinking, should we see maybe some salvage operations over here on this particular bad boy? That would be a good idea, I would think. No, he's more concerned about just taking this VP, and who can blame him on that one? Havoc, in the meantime, teching up to towards the mechanized regiment. You can tell, obviously, because his fuel is still a teensy bit low to be going for the Schwerpanzer headquarters. So I don't know if he's going to play for just having a late-game call-in. Or what? He's got to be curious right now. He knows that his opponent has not gone for the shock rifle frontline tactics. Obviously, the Dushka tells him that. Question is, has he picked up that it's not Lend-Lease? That's really the good question right here. Because if he has, is he going to be in great shape? Because at that point, there's no late game tanks he's got to worry about. There's no late game kind of big oomph coming out from the Soviets. Instead, he can just kind of sit back, macro up, and play for the late game Königstiga, should the game go that long. AA half-track setting up, but combat engineers on the wrong side of the fight for him. And indeed, Dushka backs away, and we're going to see probably a burst of fire or two. Yep, doing some really, really good chunkage out in the combat engineers. Not able to take him out, though. And there's a Rakettenwerfer, so I'm thinking he thinks it's Lend-Lease. So he knows it's not quite yet those 10 commander points, but I do think he is assuming on that later game Sherman. There we go. He's going to go and salvage this up. And the penal troops apparently don't see him. No, they don't. Neither guy knows that the other one's right there. So a little bit of fuel being accessed. No, so never mind. He's not going to go for that mechanized regiment. He's just going to go and play for the Schwerer Panzer headquarters. I was wrong on that one. Current game state, though, Germans are up 100 tickets, and I expect that lead to grow some more, even though the Soviets are taking the southern position. Now it's only a 2-0 cap, not a 3, a trip cap under control for Havoc. Havoc really should back up with these Volksgrenadiers, though. No, there he goes. And there's Jesulin bringing in a T-70. Interesting. Interesting. Where's that Rakettenwerfer? We're getting posted up to the north, looking to back up the AA half-track. Probably a very good call there. And this machine gun being lured around to the south. Is he going to get out in time? Yes, he is. He's going to see that. There goes the garrison, though. Kadoosh. And that's better than a Katyusha right there. Taking out the entire thing. No questions asked. Machine gun's going to set up, though, trying to suppress, maybe even pin down these Penal Battalion? No, these guys are going to get fried instead. And will he die before they get out? A lot of fire goes out, but not enough to take him out. T-70 in the meantime puts some rounds into the AA half-track. AA half-track proves he's game, though. He's hanging tough. Can get it back away just long enough time for this Rakettenwerfer to get shots off? No. No, he does not. Volksgrenadiers really should consider moving away, and there they go. Alrighty. Schwerer Panzer headquarters going up, obviously, and we're going to see a 120mm mortar coming out for the Soviets. He knows he can't easily break the center position, so he's trying to bring in the mortar to drop rounds on either the machine gun or the Rakettenwerfer further to the north. And frankly, wherever he is right now, he's not able to take full advantage of what he's got, which is to say a light, very, very light armor advantage and a slight infantry size advantage. Again, these are marginal advantages at best. Will the half-track deploy to the north to help fight off these penal troops? No, for the meantime, they're kind of backing off. This German squad, though, is able to put enough firepower down. No, never mind. There's only 2 guys left. They should really back away. Not quite yet, I don't think. He's probably going to go down to one more model. And the AA half-track is setting itself up somewhere, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Ah, right here, right behind the front lines. So I don't know if the T-70 knows that he's there. He's kind of creeping on forwards and creeps back. He's doing this thing back and forth. He's a little bit too afraid to get stuck in, and I can't really blame him. But Havoc has got now 3 of his 4 tech buildings. He does not have anywhere near enough... Ooh, interesting. Only fortifications doctrine. So the LEFH could be a lot of fun to see, and since he knows his opponent doesn't have a lot of late game tankage, all he has to do is make sure his front lines stay relatively stable. And shouldn't be too concerned about a late game rush. And no, instead he's called a Pack 43 in. Not sure I agree with that one necessarily, but once again, these players are worlds better than me. AA half-track fighting back and fighting off. Combat engineer supported by that T-70. And in the meantime, taking away the green cover from the usage from both the Germans as well as the Soviets. And combat engineers throwing down themselves a little bit of an explosive trap. Now, okay, these guys, oh my gosh, those guys get butchered. I don't quite appreciate sometimes how much damage this thing does. It's going to rotate back to the north. It's only got 3 kills, but just watch how quickly it turns through these penal troops. If they're not pinned with another 2 or 3 bursts, I'd be extremely surprised. And there they go instead. It's a good decision. Now the pack does have a great length of, firing arc, but mortars do really well with distant placements, obviously. So I'm a little bit curious as to why he built the Pack 43. Again, I would have gone for the LEFH. While it is an artillery piece, it would give you a ton of fire dominion around this area, as well as having that oh-so-fun ability of barraging your opponent's base whenever he does not want that to happen. Okay, I thought for a second these penal troops might be rushing on in, trying to go and throw a satchel charge out against this unfortunate AA half-track. Penal troops in the meantime do see the explosive and blow it apart. And the AA half-track throws off a couple of rounds and backs away. We're seeing ourselves a slight bit of stability along the map. That 352 to 414, Germans are going to go down a tiny bit in terms of a 2-to-1 cap, rather. But Havoc doesn't really have to rush this too much. He has the zeroing artillery. He has the ability to make that long-range artillery fire, and again, at this point, he really should know that his opponent has gone for the community defensive tactics. Not rushing his way into this, I think, will get him a good success opportunity.
Ready for action.
Worth noting in the meantime that one squad of penal troops does have these PTRSs. And they are now in range of the Sheriff Panzer headquarters. Pack 43 is not going to do anything to them, but Pack 43, they now know the Pack 43 is in play, which means you'll start to see a barrage happening from this mortar. Any second, yep, he's reassessing himself, and there is that giant stovepipe. And this is why I have a problem with the Pack 43. It's an amazing gun against vehicles. Against any sort of indirect fire, I think it's a giant liability. See, look, 1 round drops to below half health. This will get decrewed any second now. Okay, well, another round or two. Let's see it happen. In the south, we will see penal troops lining up against the Volksgrenadiers. That's going to not go too well for the Volksgrenadiers as the T-70 pounds on in. But now the T-70 should be drawn in, I would think, by the usage, the baiting, really, of another set of Volksgrenadiers. No, in the meantime, though, he's just going to go and start trying to secure this area. And there's the LEFH. Where's that going down? Back towards the base, I would hope. Captain Verfer throws out a round, is not able to hit. Okay, it's going down behind the Sheriff Panzer headquarters, so he's going to find out where that mortar is, and he's going to blow it to pieces. Bit of a brouhaha that protected the T-70, and another one that just barely misses. And there you go. You see, the Pack 43 has been decrewed. And obviously, the weapon cannot be recrewed by snipers. No, duh. Question is now, do the Germans know where the mortar fire is? Yes, he does. He knows it's right there. So one good barrage from LEFH will see his problem solved. We'll see that in just a second, though. PTRS is carving a bloody path through this MT-34.
Howitzers have pinpointed the enemy and are prepared to saturate them with fire.
And dropping fire just a little bit too long, unfortunately, for him. Slowly starting to bracket some rounds in, though. Okay, and this mortar team is super unlucky on the retreat. They really could get hurt here. I don't know if I was rooting for the Soviets or for the Germans to get away. In any case, we will see there's an engagement down to the south. We continue to see that now the Soviets, with easy power parity, are rushing on through. They have a fair amount of veterancy, while the Germans are just suffering under this constant intermittent barrages. Hey, one garrison gets taken out. That's a little bit of a win for the Germans. Not a huge one, but a little bit of one. And the Germans have to know that another explosive trap is back down in the area. The center part of the map. Will the Soviets go and utilize it, though, is the question. As of right now, they choose not to. But it's a trip cap, and they are still down 20 tickets. Tube mine goes down. Where's that going down? Up to a little bit to the northeast. And T-34-76 is going to be called on in. The question is, though, can these penal troops be effectively dealt with? The immediate answer seems to be no. And LEFH, he's going to get himself set back up. I don't know. I do not know. Alrighty, though. So, Sturm Pioneers are up to the north. They're going to come under fire from this Dushka 38. And now that they're pinned just before they capture this munitions point, that's just a shame. But... oh, and the Volks Grenadier squad gets dropped. Are you firing on anything? No, you're not. There's a P4 coming on out, and T-70 is moving up to entertain the AA half-track. But not before it pins the Dushka 38. It will compel it to retreat, and it does so in rather quick order. And LEFH... I was hearing stovepipe coming on in. Ah. Beautiful position, if I may say so myself. It's really, really hard to drop rounds in behind there. Not sure why the AA half-track is just throwing rounds right in the middle. But, you know, he's just, I guess, suppressing the entire area. Not 100% sure why. 341 to 336, however, we're going to see that P4 is almost done, and that's good because he needs to go and entertain the 76 very, very quickly. He's going down a little bit too much in infantry. His AA half-track is likely going to go down because of it. Ooh, a round that just completely misses, and that's a lucky, lucky thing right there. Now where's he looking to fire? Up to the north? I don't know where he's barraging. Oh no! He's going back towards base. Okay, so one more... okay, a little bit too long though. If he gets really, really lucky, that could oh, like that. Get some good damage out on those penal troops. And if he can get rid of the right squad, oh, it'd be beautiful. Unluckily for the Germans, we're going to see that sticky satchel charge has damaged the engine. But there's no AT guns out for the Soviets, and that's lucky enough for the Germans. Although that is a little bit of an, how do I put this? Unlucky? Is that the right term? I don't know. 76 moves in, and where's the Kettenwerfer now, boys? Why, he's a little bit too far to the north. AA half-track does put rounds into the retreating 3476. As Kettenwerfer is capturing out the northern munitions point, and that's probably the most effective thing it's done all game. It's fired, what, 2 rounds, 3 rounds? It's missed like every single one of them. 341 to 291. The Soviets are up now really for the first time the entire game, and I say that consistently up, not just a little bit up. Oh no, these Germans are completely under. Okay. Not going to use that explosive, let's call it, device on that position there.
Heavy machine gun team ready for battle.
LEFH is throwing rounds downrange, hoping to hit something, and unfortunately going thirsty every single time he throws rounds in. Hey, Kettenwerfer finally doing a little bit of use here. Gets a couple of rounds into the back side of 76. But there's a lot of Soviet armor on this map. It's only going to get worse, it looks like. The 85 is here, a 76 is here, a 70 is here, another 76 is coming on out. It's really a question of whether or not Havoc might want to legitimately build a Pack 40, Pack 43, another 88. Yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult. There goes the AA half-track. That's a big loss right there, folks. Combat engineers are coming in under fire, but that machine gun is probably going to get picked off here between penal troops and the mortar fire. No, he makes it out alive, but just a tiny bit of health left to his name. 76 comes in and around. He's going to go and flank this P4, but he misses the first shot. And here comes the first Faust coming on in, damages that engine. I'm not saying this is going to be easy, but the Faust and the 4 might be enough. There's main gun destroyed on one of them. Is it going to be another Faust used on cooldown? Not yet, no. Okay, well, with one main gun destroyed, that's enough to see him off the field. Flak placement doing some more work. There goes 176. There goes another 76. And although these Volksgrenadiers are getting shot up and pushed back... Yep, there goes the Rakettenwerfer. That's still a really, really big win, I would argue, for Havoc's troops. Able to at least deflect this immediate Soviet attack. Now, this guy's shifting around to the south. I don't know for what. Kind of a puzzlement. Back out towards the enemy base. Yes, he's going to shell the base, I imagine. And now, what can Havoc do? He's been pushed back basically across this entire map, but only, what, 2 territories going to be left to his name? Barely anything. Su-85 in the meantime has got himself like a whole lockdown. So focus sight allows him to get that increased range, or excuse me, or at least to utilize his increased range. And here come the Volksgrenadiers. I would hope to throw rounds galore. No, they come back away before that happens. And another 76 being called in. So Jesulin was down quite a bit in terms of early army supply. Seems to have remedied that pretty easily, though. P4 comes out to prove that the Germans still have teeth, and while they are down 10 or 15 army supply, and will continue to be down, he does not seem to be too cowed by that. Indeed, he's rushing on in. He's going to come in and close this Su-85. He's going to flank the thing. And 1 or 2 more shots. There's one shot right there. He's gone. T-7 in the meantime. Will that get taken out? Oof, no, first one misses right there. PTRS. Penals come in to force back the P4, deflecting it for the time being. And it's enough to take the breath away. Another P4 coming on in. So the Havoc putting all of his eggs in one single deadly basket. And the question for that is, ooh, well, there goes the artillery piece. Penal troops will go down, but so will the LEFH howitzer. And it's a very much, I don't know who is actually winning this game right now. By terms of raw scoreline, it would be the Soviets, but the Soviets, if they lose the 76, if this other P4 comes out and, you know, causes him to lose that last 76, this could be a German game. And there comes on in that other piece of German engineering. NV-34 not able to suppress, there we go, finally suppressing the Penal Squad, and with another Volksgrenadiers charging on in, he might be enough for him take care of it. Oof, never mind, there it goes. T-70 getting its own pound of flesh. And maybe I was wrong. The other P4 trooping on in. The captured Rakettenwerfer is there. In the north, P4 backs away from the 76 as the other P4 comes in to pick away at that gadfly that's been harassing the German position for so long. Oof, but he hit a mine, damaged engines. That means it might be the dead P4 here, which is just an unfortunate thing. A Kubelwagen coming out. I think Havoc has pretty much checked out from this, folks. Rear armor hit from this Rakettenwerfer. One more we see it done. There goes the deadly deed. Another 76 coming through. So Jesulin has been able to stabilize, and I think he's picked up the win. 29 minutes gone, 2-0 cap for the Soviets, and most of the positions around the map are all blue. Odd when the Soviets are always red, but you know what I mean. Okie dokie though. So, Havoc not able to leverage this zeroing artillery, not able to leverage effectively the PaK-43, and I think that was really what lost it, is not making the 43 at the right time. Now, were it me, I would have gone for a LEFH early on, if I was going to make one of those howitzers, excuse me, one of those things at all. Machine gun getting taken out, that's probably a good idea there. Remove any chance for the Germans to get any kind of support weapons fire, and that's always a victory, especially at this point in the game. But the Germans have decapped the southern VP, and they're in danger of recapping for themselves. The problem with that is that the 76 is still here, another 76 is coming out, and these sticky satchel charges will see this P4 get picked up, I imagine. Havoc does have a lot of veterancy, though. 2 fully vetted up squads of Volksgrenadiers, which is enough to warm the cockles of your heart. And by themselves, equaling all the veterancy pretty much of the line infantry for the Soviets. But this little guy right here, he's done a fair amount of work. He's really done some really good work. Kholodny coming down to the south to decap and recap some positions for the Germans. I'm thinking it would have been a better idea probably to go and tech into... How do I put this? I'm not sure maybe at the end of the day if fortifications was the right decision. That's not to suggest that special operations would have been perfect either, but I'm thinking breakthrough might have been even a better idea. For the cheap decap opportunities, and the Kubelwagen has gotten taken out by a random mortar shot, I believe. Havoc, if he has any respect for the lives of his men, should be backing away anytime now, just tapping out. Animation cancel on that incendiary grenade, but the machine MG-34 been getting wrecked by this mortar team. Another shot or two, we'll see it picked off. There it goes. Now T-70's coming, T-3476 is coming in. Put a final stamp on this game. Captured the Kettenwerfer doing its traitorous duty, taking out the P4 pretty much without any kind of assistance. And yes, honestly, that was a very, very good game right there. Half-track coming out, skadoosh. Satchel charge. I don't know why I said half-track. And main gun destroyed on 176, but I dare say it will not be enough. There he goes. Ruse up. And Havoc should be tapping anytime now. No, he's going to go out. He's going out like a samurai, my friends. He's just going to let his last tickets slip away. So thank you so much for tuning in for this particular game. Quite a good one, if I may say so myself. Winner by way of knockout is Jesulin, 341-0. Despite going down very early in this match, pulled it back in, so well played. And folks, thank you so much for checking in with me for this particular game. I hope there's no audio issues when this goes up. And if you have a game, of course, let me know, and I'll be happy to check it out. Email me at connorgaming@gmail.com. A bit of administrative things. You guys don't seem to be connecting with Dow 3 the way I was hoping you would, so I might be putting a little bit of emphasis over into Steel Division Normandy 44. This is Con Ulrich signing off. You guys all have a great day, and I'll see you all soon. Take it easy, everybody.